for your cast of the Why So Serious show on BlazeRadioOnline.com.
It is Monday, and it is time for the Why So Serious show, the first of 5 Why So Serious shows this week. I'm Jesse Morrison, joined alongside Mallory Schnell and Jeremy Schnell together in Montana, Evan Osherwitz, and of course, the one and only Matt Kling. We have some absolutely huge Bachelor news or Bachelorette news coming up later in the show, but we're not going to do that now. We're gonna tease it for later to keep you guys listening, or watching, or whatever. I guess you're watching. But we will start with the NBA. So the NBA started back in Orlando. They're playing these 8 seeding games. All the teams.
Let me tell you something about the NBA, Jesse. The referees have been awful, and I'll tell you what, they are the reason that the.
I don't like bashing officials, so I'm not.
He's got a point. He's definitely got a point.
I think that it's been awesome. I have enjoyed the
Miami Heat lost today because of a flagrant foul call on Kelly.
Him again, because again, I don't like bashing the officials. It's never the official's fault that a team loses a game.
Kelly Olynyk didn't even touch the guy. Like, I don't understand. He's just flopping all over the place because Kyle Lowry is going to be Kyle Lowry. Ridiculous.
I'm not going to say that teams are losing games because of officiating, but officiating is definitely influencing the outcome of games. Like that Mavericks-Suns game yesterday, I didn't know it was possible for an entire team to foul out, but the Mavericks almost did, and they ended up losing by 2. So you can't tell me that game wasn't influenced by the officiating.
I mean, it seems to be a lot like I'm talking about the Heat, Evan's talking about the Mavericks. I think we just got a little bit of
Hey, Matt. How are you doing?
Have we officially reached the point where sports are so back that people are complaining about officiating in games? Like like we've gone 360 from, oh my gosh, when are sports going to be back, to, oh my God, the officials suck.
No, it's the only reason why I watch the KBO, so I can bash some umpires. Like, it's the only reason that I need someone to bash, and it's always going to be the officials.
All right, Mallory, put it on the fold. Did you watch the KBO just so you had umpires to bash? I just think it's been great. Like, I've very much enjoyed it. I like the setup. I think it's cool. There's kind of fans there. Like, they're not actually there, but they're kind of there. The players
virtual fans, yeah.
Virtual fans. It's cool.
Virtual fans and everything
fans.
So far that's returned. So
yeah,
Vans.
They're he's really bad today. He's really throwing me off my game. But I thought the opening night, it came back, on fire.
Great Laker Clipper game. Absolutely great Laker Clipper finish.
So LeBron did something.
Those finishes in all the NBA games.
Yeah, the only bad day was Saturday and a little bit of Sunday, but
Sixers game was good finish tonight. I watched that, of course.
I thought the Rockets
today. The Czars were close.
I thought the Rockets. I don't want to talk about the Wizards. I don't care. They're terrible. They lost to the Nets.
30 points.
They lost to the Nets. I don't care. But I really wanted to talk about how LeBron followed his shot, kids.
Yeah.
You're taught in basketball to follow your shot, and LeBron, he missed a shot. He knew it was a miss. He charged in there. He got the rebound. He put it up, put it in, and then he went back there and played great defense on first Kawhi and then on Paul George. Both, 2 of the best players in the NBA. So LeBron is still the best player in the world, I have decided. That's my big proclamation.
Not Kawhi Leonard anymore?
Not Kawhi. I'm wearing my LeBron jersey more now than I am my Kawhi jersey.
Quiet Riot. Is he quiet? Get it?
Jeremy's just really throwing me off my game today. But speaking of the Clippers, though, they're on a mission. I think Kawhi is on a mission. He must have had a hoop in a gym or something while he was away. I mean, that's all he does is play basketball and fish, I guess. And so the bubble's perfect.
And go to
ice machines on the hotel floor.
Yeah, that was a great tweet.
I'm downstairs. Can you come let me in?
Do y'all have impressions of the bubble?
A bub date? Do we need a bub date first?
No, like I want to know like what you guys actually think about the play so far, other than the refs.
Oh, it's been awesome.
Yeah. All the games
Oh,
have been
so
fun.
something that I saw earlier today on Twitter. I don't know if you sent it to me or I saw it on my own, but the depth perception. The players aren't having to like look at the stands in the background, and it's like a regular gym, as if they're at a practice facility. So their depth perception, they're saying if someone starts to get hot, they're not going to miss, because like it's much different than playing in a big arena.
Trey Burke was 7 for 8 from 3 against the Rockets, so that is definitely true.
And then
some guys have definitely
TJ Warren went off.
Yeah, some guys have definitely gotten magical powers from whatever they're being fed in the bubble, is what I'm convinced of, because James Harden was locking up Giannis during that game too, and that just doesn't happen during like a regular NBA season. So that's the only explanation. Like,
you know where the bubble is?
The food at Disney literally is magical.
Evan, you know where the bubble is, right?
Yeah, I know. Disney's wide world of sports.
You know what Disney is, right?
I mean, like, I get what you're trying to say. I'm well aware of like the connection.
Disney's magical. So
the players have
magic powers now.
Okay, Jesse.
Matt has something to say. Go
There
ahead.
have been 25 games so far, and only 3 teams have scored under 100 points.
Wow. And that Rockets game almost made it to – someone almost made it to 200.
Yeah, they combined for 296 points. It was absolutely ridiculous, and it was even more ridiculous that the Mavs let that lead in the fourth quarter get away from them.
Yeah.
They should have won that game.
That was a great game.
Yeah, I was watching it with Jesse, and he kept saying the Rockets are going to win this one. The Rockets are going to win this one. And
yeah, I said that yesterday too. The Rockets are going to make the Western Conference Finals.
Okay, and I know he's gonna mute me for this, but that foul that they called at the end of regulation that gave Harden 3 free throws, that definitely influenced the outcome of the game.
I don't really pay attention to the calls.
That's not a foul. That's not a foul.
I just don't really pay attention to the calls. Like I let the refs do their job, and I let my fandom just be fandom. Like I don't let people, influence my, like it's just
okay.
Like,
but you can't deny
play better defense throughout the game.
Factors so far.
Play better defense throughout the game so that the call at the end doesn't affect it, and you're up 10.
So just looking at the standings, the changes that have gone on so far, Eastern Conference, it's been minimal. Orlando's hopped over Brooklyn for the 7 spot. Brooklyn retains the 8 spot. Obviously, the Wizards are basically on the brink of elimination right now. In the Western Conference, Houston's taken over 4th place. They were, I believe, 6th. Dallas officially clinched their playoff spot, and then Memphis has been retaining the 8 seed, but it's gotten very close. And I mean, all the remaining teams under them are 3.5 games within them, so which is pretty tight. And I think I heard the 8 seed has to win by at least 2 games to actually clinch the spot without having what's his name, a playoff to get in the playoffs. So it's been an interesting play so far.
Why are we looking at the foul? This is
the last 2-minute report by the NBA official. Which one are you talking about? Are you talking about the one where Porzingis holds hard?
No, it was the one where it should have been a foul on the ground and they called it a shooting foul, even though he didn't even get touched. Like the one where he got 3 free throws. Go down.
Hey, Mallory.
I think it was Finney Smith who fouled him.
Yeah.
The one with 5 seconds.
Former Virginia Tech Hokie.
Prior to the start of upward shooting motion. Wow, you're right, Evan. Look at that. NBA admitting to their mistakes.
And not only that, it wasn't a foul. There was no contact there. You could clearly see that on the replay. It shouldn't have been.
And it makes contact to Harden's arm, it says.
Right.
Well, okay, so they admitted half of their mistake. But if you watch the replay, it's pretty clear he doesn't get.
Mallory, let's move on to the NBA bubble life. What's going on with the guys?
I literally just saved some like 2 seconds ago because I forgot to. But like we were talking about earlier, the difference between LeBron arriving to the game and Kawhi arriving to the game is very funny. So you got LeBron in his, bougie outfit, and then Kawhi looking like he's going to the hotel ice machine on the floor.
Looking like he's going to get some continental breakfast at the hotel.
This one, who's that?
It's Patrick Beverley. Patrick Beverley fell asleep on the team bus.
No problem.
Yeah.
This is the best one of the week.
It's probably Miami related.
Very cringe.
Did they get tacos?
I wonder.
I'm sure LeBron bought the whole team tacos for Taco
I'm
Tuesday.
sure they brought LeBron some tacos to the Cinderella's castle where he's staying.
Yeah. Is LeBron just up there like in a throne, just like sitting in
The
some
throne from the
position?
Sports Center commercial.
And his chair.
Damian Lillard has like a humongous suite, so I can only imagine what LeBron has.
He's just sitting. He's in the top of like the top turret of the tower, just in his chair with his wine, because LeBron always has like drinks wine when he's like hurt or whatever, and he's just got his crown on and is just dictating everything that's going on.
Whiteside updates. I mean,
Whiteside just been watching some anime, chilling for the week. Nothing. Crazy.
scoring 4 points and getting 3 rebounds. The usual Whiteside stuff when it comes.
Lou Williams might play tomorrow, is what I saw. Remember, he's been kind of sheltered away because of the whole hot wings at the nightclub incident.
I wonder if he'll make it rain from 3.
Oh!
No, that was a good one.
No,
That
stop.
was a good one.
Stop. That was a good one.
That was a good one. What are you talking about? All right, I'm going to flip it over to Evan and Mallory. I've got some hockey. I got a hockey take, but it comes way after they talk about their situation and the bubble situation.
You just want us to go through like each series and discuss what's happened so far?
I mean,
What
what are your impressions on the hockey bubble and the hockey games? Because that started on Saturday.
Okay, so impression number 1, Connor McDavid is really good. He has 7 points in 2 games as of tonight, and the series is tied. So he's been balling, and they haven't been winning because they kind of laid an egg in the first game.
Before you continue, can you play the fact of the day sound, because Evan has a fact of the day for us?
Is it the thing about James Neal that we were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is Travis's sound.
Yeah, and you're using it with me later too, so we're just.
Hey, Travis!
Evan.
Fact of the
Okay,
day!
so-
We want it now! The fact of the day!
We should really change these to whoever is actually saying it that day.
I should preface this.
Yeah. Record yourself doing these redone intros. I'm waiting for a movies with Matt intro, but go ahead.
Yeah, so I just want to start this by saying I have nothing against James Neal. He is a declining player, but in his heyday, he was a pretty good goal scorer. Nothing against him. But before the start of the qualifiers, he didn't have a goal in 2020. His last goal in the regular season was New Year's Eve against the Rangers, and he's now got 2
It's my
goals
mom's birthday.
in the first 2 games of the qualifiers. So James Neal is known as a guy who gets hot at the start of seasons. This is basically a new season. So I guess
he's a good playoff player. So, I mean, I guess you can call what they're doing right now the playoffs too.
I mean, he can be.
He was a very instrumental part of that Predators team that got to the Cup.
Yeah, and then the next year against Vegas, he was not an instrumental part of their run. So, streaky player by all accounts. We'll see. Neither of those goals were important either. I just want to say that.
It was an insurance goal tonight.
Tonight they won because of McDavid and Corey Crawford looking like Swiss cheese, which has basically been how that series has gone. Ton of goals. Defense is optional. It's been very exciting hockey, but it probably drives the coaches nuts. That's tied at 1 game apiece. It's been a pretty good qualifier for underdogs so far. Montreal won game 1. Overtime thriller. Jeff Petrie with the winner. always can
Petri
count on
dish.
a clutch goal. Yeah, I was very happy about that. Tonight, we didn't get so lucky. Price has been excellent. I think everybody knew that was going to happen. The team in front of him has been letting him down big time, though. He had another great performance tonight, and they just couldn't solve Matt Murray. So that series is tied as well. Underdogs have actually been doing just like really well across the board, not just the 12 seeds. Carolina's up 2-0 on the Rangers. They're the higher seed, but I don't think a lot of people expected they would win because of their regular season record against the Rangers. They were 0-4. Lundqvist has been fine, honestly, for the Rangers, but they're on the brink of elimination. Game 3 is tomorrow. We'll see if they can extend it, but I have a feeling they're going home.
Arizona
Islanders, there's only been one game, but
Cody's.
I don't like Florida's odds. I'm sorry, guys.
Hey, come on. Listen, we only lost because of that terrible call on the delay of game. That was a total.
Go again with the refs.
The Islanders are also just a very frustrating team to play against in general. They just kind of suck the life out of the game.
Oh, yeah.
Don't allow a lot of quality scoring chances.
They're a good team. It's just like Bobrovsky played pretty well. Like that, I think that was one of his better games of the season.
He played well, but the Islanders also padded his save percentage with shots from the outside that he'll stop every time. So that's what they do.
He made some perfect saves too.
They just keep play to the outside and wait for the right opportunity. And I see Florida continuing having trouble scoring. So
it looked like they kind of woke up in that late second, early third period. They kind of woke up and started getting some shots on goal. So that was good.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. But it in my opinion, the Panthers have long odds there. And then there's so many series to go through. Winnipeg-Calgary's been an interesting one because of all the injuries on the Jets side. Mark Scheifele went down with a scary injury. Patrick Laine got hurt later in that game. They were able to win today.
The liner.
Yeah, I love Patrick Laine. He's my favorite player in the NHL. But, Winnipeg's center depth is absolutely terrible without Scheifele. Andrew Kopp is their number one center right now. And it shows. They won today, but it was not a pretty win by any means. And I like the heart they showed today. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to win a best of 5 without 2 of their top players. So it's not looking good for Canadian teams. Toronto had a lot of trouble scoring the other night. People were blaming Anderson for the one goal he let in when the team got completely smoked by Columbus. Don't like their odds in that series. And Vancouver got shut out by Minnesota. More on that later when we get to what are we doing. But, yeah, it doesn't look good for Canadian teams. Montreal and Edmonton are the only one, and Winnipeg, I guess, after today, are the only ones that have won a game. And it doesn't look good for the Jets or Canadians. So if you're a fan north of the border, could be another long playoffs. And that's it for me. I don't know if Mallory has anything to add.
Austin Matthews in his press conference yesterday.
Oh, yeah, he flamed Steve Simmons. Good for him. I'd have done the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was like an invasion of his, privacy. It was unethical, like you said.
I like that he answered the question anyway, though.
Yes.
He got his little roast in, but then he was like, okay, moving on, and he answered the question. So, class act. I don't get all the backlash from him being nominated for the Lady Byng. It's a trophy about sportsmanship, and he's a guy who's a good sport on the ice, doesn't take a lot of penalty minutes. May have mooned a security guard over the summer, but, the Lady Byng isn't about off-ice conduct, so I think he's a worthy nominee. And, yeah, just an overall class act.
Yeah, like one of my favorite players in the league. Overall class act, Tom Wilson was back at it today against the Tampa Bay Lightning. We will talk about that right now because I'm sorry, Clay.
I want to quickly go through the other round robin games because
that one needs to be talked about.
Flyers,
the Dallas Stars completely collapsed today.
Yeah, and these guys won. The Flyers also won yesterday. The Avalanche beat the reigning Stanley Cup champs, and I'll let Jesse take away the Lightning beating Capitals.
We lost, like Washington Capitals, the team that everyone should root for in the NHL. It was chippy. It was great. There was a comeback by the Caps after an Oshie fight, which was awesome. And then it went into overtime. And this is where my rant starts. So with about 10 seconds to go, there's a penalty on the Lightning. And it says 2 minutes of, power play. But then, obviously the clock runs out for the actual overtime period. So they just go to a shootout. And I'm just saying, like, if you get a penalty, it should either be you get the first 2 shots of the shootout, or they go to, they finish that 2-minute penalty.
Yeah.
Because it's basically just like, oh, you committed a penalty, but whatever, here you go. Here's a free chance at the goal, pretty much. Like, you just have the goalie in the way. Like, it's just unfair to me. That's a rule change. I'm very much for rule changes. I'm not for bashing officials, but for changing the rules, like, I mean, I just think that, like, that's stupid and it's ridiculous. And honestly, like, we should have won, in my opinion, because if we'd had the full power play, like, Ovi's basically the best power play guy, like, ever. So you never know.
Mallory, put this on the poll. Who is more of a jerk? The one who complains about the refs, or the one who complains that the rules should be changed?
Or the
That's a good
Carolina
question.
Hurricanes.
Also, I wanted to make one more point. This is perfect. The Carolina Hurricanes are finally playing a playoff game in front of their real fans, which is nobody. Because if you look at if you look at the Carolina Hurricanes.
Okay, that's enough.
They had fans
no, no, no,
raised
no, no, no.
here
That was
for the
long
playoffs.
overdue. That was long overdue.
That was bad.
Let me address your argument here, Jesse. So, like, let's face it, these round robin games are basically like gassed up regular season games. The only thing at stake here is seeding, like standings points.
Yeah, I'd like to play the Canadians in the first round.
Yeah, that worked out real well for you in 2010, didn't it?
I don't remember that.
Remember
It was a
that,
long time
buddy?
ago.
Yeah, I'm sure you do want to play us. So anyway, the only thing at stake in this game was that one extra standings point. So, like, I don't think this is a rule worth changing just because it's not going to cost a team a season like the major penalty rule did with Vegas last year. There's not a lot, like, to lose here. You have
it's never going to be a problem in a playoff game.
Yeah, because I don't think
There's no
gonna use
shootouts.
the scenario again in the playoffs.
There's
And
no
in the regular
shootouts in a
season-
playoff game.
Right. And if you're in the regular season and this happens, you have 81 other chances to get that extra point. So if you end up missing the playoffs by a point, you have no one but yourself to blame. You can't just blame it on that one power play that you may or may not have scored on at the end of that overtime.
Okay,
So
well,
for me, it just isn't worth it.
I think what Jeremy said is the compromise. Like, you get the first 2 shots in the shootout. Like, I think that's pretty reasonable. And, like, yeah, it's something that doesn't happen that much, but, like, if it does, then maybe you go to that rule. You change the rule. Like, you make everything as perfect as possible and create every scenario in your mind when you're making these rules for these leagues. That's my opinion.
I think there's already enough problems with the 3-on-3 overtime and shootout format that they don't need to muck it up anymore. Because I think this is a situation where if you change it to try and make it better, you're just going to make it 1,000 times worse. So I'm fine with the current format they have. The Capitals definitely outplayed the Lightning. They definitely deserve the win, but that's what happens in the shootout. It's a skills competition, and the Lightning have more skill than anyone. So
I like Max and I's idea for hockey.
Me and Max's?
Yeah. No, it's Max and me. I don't know. Max and Max and I. Max and I had an idea. Thank you for correcting me improperly on grammar. Go walk to the bathroom. But my idea is just you throw everybody on the ice, multiple pucks, maybe multiple nets, multiple goals, and that's what you do.
They go north and they go east and west hockey. Yeah. East and west hockey at center ice.
Or you play 3-on-3, but you move the goals to the blue lines.
Wow.
I have a new segment. It is called "Why You Should Root for the Golden Knights If You Have Not Picked the Team." The youngest team in the league in terms of how many years they've been in the league. Reason number one, I'm going to give you a reason every week till they're out of the playoffs. Reason number one why you should root for the Golden Knights, they have 2 solid goaltenders that they plan on switching out in different games, Marc-Andre Fleury and Robin Lehner. And that is my segment on why you should
Fleury opted out.
I'd rather have one goaltender who's just like a stud than 2 like 1As. Because okay,
All
Fleury,
right, Carey Price, whatever.
yeah,
Like,
Fleury, I think he's got like 1 or 2 more years of like really solid goaltending left in him, and after that, they're gonna have to go to Leonard full time anyway. So that offer's only available for a limited time. And yeah, that's my only rebuttal.
They started Leonard today.
They
And
did.
they won.
And his
They
save
came back and won.
percentage was not great, but the Dallas Stars completely stopped playing hockey in the third period. So he was bailed out and given an easy win.
Look, all I know is I was producing the newscast while the game was going on, and I get an alert on my phone. I see it's 3-1, and then like 2 seconds later, I get an alert saying it's 3-2, and within like 5 minutes, the Golden Knights had the lead. So
Yeah.
that was my observation of the game today.
Based on everything I'm seeing, both their exhibition game and the first game of the round robin, the Dallas Stars are going to be a quick exit in round 1 of the playoffs.
I think the Golden Knights should be allowed to. I think the goalie, whoever's in net for the Golden Knights at the time, should be allowed to carry a jousting stick.
Oh my gosh!
Okay.
Mallory, put it on the poll. Should the goalie for the Golden Knights be allowed to? What?
No.
On a much more relevant and serious topic, there were some players who kneeled for the anthem before that game, and I think
and Ryan Reeves.
Yeah, it was Ryan Reeves and Robin Leonard for Vegas, and Jason Dickinson and Tyler Seguin for Dallas.
Cool. People have the right to kneel and stand.
Right.
Yes, I agree.
Right. Matt Dumba of the Wild was the only player in the NHL who had kneeled for the anthem before today when those 4 did it. So I think that deserves to be recognized.
Yeah.
All right.
Jesse, you excited?
I'm so excited for this.
This is the Jesse pronunciation segment where he tries.
Oh yeah, we're not moving on to baseball yet.
No.
Sorry.
Why aren't we? I want to.
Jesse tries to pronounce hockey players' names.
Yeah, so this is a list that Jeremy and I have compiled of both current and retired players that Jesse will attempt to pronounce correctly. I'm going to start this off by saying if you watch tonight's game between the Oilers and Blackhawks, you'll know how to say this one because this guy had a goal and an assist for what I can only assume is the first time in his entire career.
I was watching
a lot.
I was watching the Lakers game muted, and then I was watching Bachelor Goat with the sound on.
So in other words, you don't know how to say this name.
Slater Cocaine.
That's close.
The correct pronunciation is Slater Cuckoo, but you were kind of close.
Okay.
The tricky one. There's 3 types of hockey names. There's the easy ones, the complete tongue
easy.
that are
This should be easy.
say,
I feel like I'm going to end up swearing.
and the ones that look easy but are actually just trap cards.
This
This one should be easy.
Dustin Befuglian.
Oh God.
Dustin Bufflin.
It's
It
Bufflin.
is Dustin Bufflin,
Okay.
the recently retired Dustin Bufflin.
Okay.
Jets and
Thrashers and Blackhawks.
Atlanta Thrashers. All right.
Rest in peace, Thrashers.
We have one of their players. Oh, Jesse Morrison.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm right?
Okay. No.
So
Try
this is a special one because you actually got both his first name and his last name wrong. It's Jesse Puljujärvi. Finnish names are really tricky because the letters don't make the sounds you expect them to.
What
Like
does the A make?
as far as I know, it's just an A. But
All right, next name.
Can we start calling Jesse Yessie? Like,
Ooh.
The last name I feel like
that.
is easier here than the first name. I'm just gonna say that Z is silent. So Marius Surkowski.
you got the first name right. It's Marius Czerkowski,
Sure.
who was a 30-goal scorer for the Islanders.
Will you give me a hand here for getting the first name?
Think of
Recognizing that silent Z.
no, Jesse. Czech Republic spelled CZ, so it's the same way of that.
Czech, yeah.
Baltimore Orioles third baseman Rio Ruiz.
Very close.
Um,
Actually kind of got the first name right. You got the hard part of the first name right. So it's Reijo Ruotsalainen. And the only reason I know who this guy is because he won 4 Stanley Cups with the Oilers back in the day. Definitely before my time, but he was a pretty successful player.
Okay, next.
And that's all I know about him.
Curtis Leisheshin. Curtis Leisheshin.
Valiant effort. This is another throwback. It's Curtis Leisheshin, who played for the Nordiques back in the 90s. Stay-at-home defenseman. Pretty forgettable player overall, except for the name. I just know this one because it's probably the hardest one on the list.
Did he have a lot of surgeries? So his nickname would be Curtis Incision Leisheshin?
No word on that, but I know his son is a Golden Knights prospect. So.
Panthers, yeah.
John Van Beesbrook.
Yeah.
Wait, Jesse got one?
I'm not bad at I'm not bad at pronouncing things.
He's a Panthers legend. Beezer.
He got.
I think I've heard of him too. So
How many more of these are there?
oh, this one's easy. Harry Zolnierczyk.
It's Zolnierczyk, but you're close enough.
Yeah,
Fringe NHL. He's best known for getting absolutely destroyed in a playoff game by Jared Bull a couple years ago, so I forgive you for getting that one wrong. A lot of these guys are fringe players.
Jirki Jokapaka.
All right, so
No, Jirki Jokapaka. Yerky. It's like a yeah.
It is Jirki Jokapaka. This guy is now in the KHL. He plays for Novosibirsk, but he was on the Stars for a little bit. And while he was on the Stars, his teammates called him Kevin because his name was so hard to pronounce. So they just gave him the most basic name ever.
That's so funny.
Which I think is a really funny little factoid.
Jesse, you're on a roll. You've gotten 3 in a row.
How many
That's
more
better
are
than
there?
I thought.
A couple. This one's easy.
This one you should know because he's
Yeah.
on the Coyotes. And he's a multiple-time Stanley Cup winner.
Yeah, I totally know who he is. But I think I'm gonna mess up his name. Nicholas Halmerson.
Oh, Jesus.
You sort of had the right idea. It's Nicholas Hjalmarsson.
Yeah. Now that you said Hjalmarsson, I'm like, yep, I know who that is. He's on the Coyotes.
Yep.
Does he play?
He does play. He is a penalty kill specialist, blocks a ton of shots. For my money, one of the best shot blockers in the NHL. And he's the only guy on the Coyotes who has a Stanley Cup ring besides.
So you said he's got 2 cups?
No, he's got 3. He was on all 3 Chicago teams.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I was about
Very
to.
valuable guy to have on your team come playoff time. This one, okay, I have to say, this one is technically cheating because he's only played 2 NHL games, and they were both this year. But he is a Florida Panthers prospect, and he was involved in a pretty big trade on deadline day.
He also has the same name as one of the Carroll College players.
Eetu Luostarinen.
Another Finnish guy. No.
Why is this so long? Why are we doing this?
It's Etu. It's Etu.
Eetu Luostarinen, yes.
Okay, I was close.
Yeah, and I think that's the last one on the list, right? Oh, no, never mind.
Mark Borowiecki.
So this guy, I think this guy is going to be the captain of the Ottawa Senators.
Wait, did I get the pronunciation right or not?
It's Mark Borowiecki. He also has a great nickname. They call him Borocop. He's an absolute goon. He fights everybody that moves. Actually had a pretty decent season this year on the blue line for Ottawa. Pretty good leader.
Matthew Tkachuk.
Ah, dang it. I thought I was
I saw him fight tonight.
This is Jeremy's. I just want to say
hold
that.
on, I'll have another one.
He's been in the news way too much lately for you to get that one wrong.
Patrick Waugh.
Ah, got it. Wow.
Dude, I watch Patrick Waugh fights all the time.
I just want to say that, there's a lot of people who still call him Patrick Roy. And,
Really?
old-time hockey fans who still call him that. I think it's just because they don't want to take the effort to say it, the proper way. or they're just so anti-French that they have to like anglicize it. I don't know, but I know a lot of people who still call him Patrick Roy, and it makes me really mad. Don't call him that.
Okay, now we can talk about baseball.
Hold on, one more.
Oh,
Whoa.
Mark Psychic.
It's Mark Pesic or Pissick. Pesic or
No,
Pissick.
Pesic.
Yeah, people
Probably
call him,
not Pissick, but okay.
people call him Pissick too. I call him
Does
Pesic.
he suck?
No.
Yeah,
He had a hat
He's
trick
a
this year.
defenseman. He's a defenseman turned forward.
Yeah.
Okay, we are sharing the screen. We are quickly clicking here.
They usually play this before every Marlins game.
They play this at
Oh my gosh. Why?
I don't know if any of you are fans of the. Give me a second here.
I'm a fan of John Fogerty, and I'm a fan of Baxter, the D-back.
I think Baxter's one of the worst mascots and creepiest mascots, but
Not when they have those guys that race around.
I love the Legends race.
No, those guys are scary.
But unfortunately, Baxter put on a thong during this Sunday's Dodgers D-backs game. The Borat thong, if you guys have ever seen the movie.
And then
Borat.
Mookie Betts hit one into the water right next to him.
Yeah, so it's quite unfortunate. I don't really know why anyone would ever like suggest that. Like it just I don't know. I just don't like it. Like he's already got this like creepy face going on, and I don't know why there's mascots this year. There's no little kids. Like
They just look like the straps that like hold up your pants. I don't know what they're called in English. But,
suspenders.
like, those, yeah, that it just looks like that. Like he's wearing a mascot suit. It's not like he's going commando here.
It's still weird though. I don't know. There's something
I
about
don't
it
see
that's so
anything
weird.
wrong with this. I honestly don't. It's weird, and I would never wear that. But like, if you've got the mascot suit under it, it's not that bad.
It's the only way we're gonna get Jesse into one of these bubbles.
Yeah, we're trying. I'm trying to get into Chase Field. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I tried this weekend to get to work for a production company, but they said that they hire just Fox Sports people, so I couldn't do that. I'm trying though. But the biggest story in baseball is probably COVID. But we're not. We're gonna wait till because it's a Cardinals-related thing. We're gonna wait till we talk about that. With Matt.
The Phillies played tonight after not playing for a week, and they only lost 6-3, and they got rained out tomorrow because of I don't even want to pronounce the name of the hurricane that's coming up the East Coast.
Isaiah.
Can I also just say this is not like a big storyline in baseball, but I've lost my top 3 starting pitchers in fantasy likely for the whole year. And I just want to say, like, if you're a starting pitcher on my team, you should probably just like opt out of the season because you're gonna get hurt. I had Kluber, Verlander, and now Soroka's out with the torn Achilles.
That was unfortunate. That's
yeah. If you're like, I don't know, Lucas Giolito, Dylan Bundy, Steven Matz, Anibal Sanchez, you might want to sit out your next start because there's a good chance you're going to get injured.
I'm gonna start trading you all the pitchers from the NL and AL East so that the Marlins win.
Oh, and in spite of all this, I was still the second highest scoring team in our league, and I still beat
Jesse's dad somehow. Jesse's dad just has them.
I still beat Jesse Morrison after he was verbally taunting me 3 days into our matchup. So I just want to say, Jesse, next time you want to chirp me, bud, remember this.
But the big story in baseball, probably the biggest story right now, is just how amazing Aaron Judge is. And I'm going to share the screen for another thing here. I don't know if
Matt Vasgersian's called his homer.
Yeah, it was a little much for a second inning homer, but this is
an eighth inning homer, but yeah.
This is the 6th home run in 5 games.
Struggling to start the season.
Thank you. It is high. It is far. It is
gone. A gigantian home run.
D'Antonian home run.
A Judge, whatever. But it's a Judge Jantian or something. That's what
Can we talk about how Yoenis Cespedes just dipped on the Mets?
It's so Mets. Like, everything that's happened this year to the Mets is so funny.
But Judge is just so amazing.
It's not a laughing matter that Cespedes opted out of the season the way he did, but
He
it's
just
a
up and
laughing
left.
matter because he's on the Mets and he did that.
Well, yeah, he just up and left. He packed all of his things and was like, I don't care if I'm on a contract year and need to, like, play well going into free agency. I'm out of here. I'm playing for the Mets. Like,
He's gonna get paid till he dies, essentially. He'll find a way to get his contract like Bobby Bonillas, and they're gonna pay him every year until he dies.
yeah.
Yeah, but the funny thing about the Mets is, like, this year's Bobby Bonilla Day, like, it's terrible that there's a pandemic, obviously, but, like, this year's Bobby Bonilla Day with no Met game on Bobby Bonilla Day was probably the funniest Bobby Bonilla Day because, like, they just paid a guy $1 million and they didn't play to, like, distract it. I was listening to Stu Gatza's Weekend Observations today on the Levitard show, and he said he saw that Yoenis Cespedes was missing, and he just moved on to the next thing in his day because that's, just typical Mets to him.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I mean, they did make the World Series in 2015.
Yeah.
It was a fluke, though. Like, they got 5 games. Like,
Yeah, but
they made the playoffs.
They could have made – I think they could have made it back the next year if Familia didn't give up that home run in the wild card game.
Yeah.
And
they
if
have a
had,
good
like,
young team.
They have a bad closer, though. Like, Edwin Diaz is freaking terrible.
Oh, yeah. But
I'm not like blaming him for their failures. Like, they didn't score a run in that game, but if that doesn't happen, they probably would have gone far in the playoffs. I don't think
a great
that's
lineup, and they can't seem to score runs. So
yeah, they have some great young players. Like, they're
Jeff McNeil.
yeah.
I mean, I'm looking
Rosario's been disappointing now.
and
As a Rosario fantasy owner, I have been very underwhelmed with his performance.
This seems to be turning into the fantasy segment for Evan.
Yeah, pretty much. That's
me if
that's
any
the extent of my interest in baseball at this point. I was
Not
into the
even playing for money.
I was into the Rangers until like game 2 when they stranded like 12 runners on base, and I was like, okay, well, this is gonna be more of the same.
But Elvis is back.
And then the Kluber experiment lasted 1 inning. So, yeah, there's just no reason to pay attention to them. So I'm just in it
They're
for
not a great franchise historically. They're actually one of the worst. They did beat my team 30-3 one time.
It just, like, it kind of sucks for them because, like, they've had 2 really good chances to win the World Series and they blew it. Like,
Well,
the first time they were out in 5, like, the Giants were going to win either way. The Cardinals series, yeah, I don't think people around here are ever going to get over that one.
you shouldn't. It's terrible. Like,
and we will see you tomorrow night.
Baseball, I mean, the Yankees are the best team in baseball right now, tied for the fewest amount of losses with the Miami Marlins because they haven't played a game.
Marlins first place.
No, the Braves are in first place according to ESPN standards.
According to MLB standards, the Marlins are in first place.
The Marlins play a 4-game series in 3 days with the Orioles. Starting tomorrow, they're back. It's going to be the Marlins AAA team.
I have no idea who's playing on the team. They haven't come out.
Yeah, we don't even know which players are sick.
No, they haven't come out with anything as to like who they're.
That is the issue with how messed up HIPAA laws are. I mean, HIPAA laws are great. They're great protecting laws, but they're so messed up that you have no idea what players on that team.
I don't know who to play on my fantasy team. Like, come on. Like,
wait, no, just
get
Steve Simmons to cover it, and you'll find out in like 30 minutes.
If I'm putting money on this game, I need to know who's sick, who's hurt, who's playing, who's not playing.
Oh, Andy Slater, he probably knows.
I just need to know. I know that JJ Bleday is not going to play because they don't want to waste a year on his contract. I get it, fine. But, like, who's going to play?
Matt, do you still hate the HIPAA laws?
Oh, no, I don't hate the HIPAA laws. I'm just pointing out how HIPAA laws work. But then again, this is Major League Baseball. This is their own version of HIPAA laws. So,
do you want to ask the follow-up to Matt?
Matt, you still like the Libs?
The Chicago Cubs are 8-2. The Twins are 8-2. The Rockies are 7-2.
Rockies, great start. Nolan Arenado. Great player.
Yeah,
He's
but
the best third
two of
baseman in
those
baseball.
wins are against the Rangers, so they don't count.
Jeremy, I have
Don't
a
count.
request for you.
Mhm.
You want to watch the Marlins game tomorrow with me?
Can we record it and show everybody our reactions?
The Dodgers have the highest run differential in baseball, plus 29.
So backstory on that, just real quick. So
The
last week,
Mariners and D-backs have a minus 25 run differential, which is worse.
Walk over it.
Yeah, the D-backs cannot score runs. Like, as much as I'm giving the Rangers grief for not being able to put up runs, the D-backs have been so much worse.
terrible prediction by me. But going back to the baby.
Yeah, World Series champs 2020, according
Angels
to
are also
Jesse.
3-7. Also, how
No,
Shohei
the Angels are winning the World Series.
They're 3. Hold on. Shohei Ohtani isn't going to play probably the
They're
rest.
still gonna win.
But they have
So Mike Trout's
known.
maternity leave might be longer than expected because of
They
quarantine.
have David Fletcher.
Yeah, Fletch.
Going back to the baby voices though. Mallory
There's
said that
Papa.
I could include the poop segment from last week if I talked in a baby voice on the show today.
What?
Yeah.
Terrible compromise.
What?
Fully worth it, I think.
100% worth it. 100% worth it.
He came up with the idea, not me.
I did not come up with the idea. I think you came up with the idea.
Anyway,
You kept bugging me. He's like,
Oh yeah. I wanted to keep it. All right. Well,
I have no idea who's pitching for the Marlins tomorrow. Do we have like a probable starter?
no. Just look at the New
Look,
Orleans.
automatically,
Like all Sixto Sanchez yet? Like he's supposed to be really good. Like
okay, if you get this joke, and I hope at least one of you does, you'll be my best friend. But Don Mattingly and his sideburns might take the field tomorrow. For all we know. Okay,
Hey,
did anyone get that joke?
long sideburns.
No.
Okay.
So, okay, quick backstory. I know movies with Matt's coming up, but the greatest episode of The Simpsons ever aired in 1992 or 93. I think it was 93. And Mr. Burns, the power plant softball team led by Homer Simpson, had an unbeaten record. They were going into a championship game, but Mr. Burns decided to bet $1 million on it, the opponent, and to guarantee a win, he hired 9 major leaguers, guys from Wade Boggs to Don Mattingly to Roger Clemens to Ken Griffey Jr., and 8 out of the 9 of those guys did not play due to quote-unquote misfortunes. One of them was Don Mattingly, who, according to Mr. Burns, had sideburns that he wanted to get rid of, but Don Mattingly didn't even have sideburns. So it was – the funniest one was Roger Clemens getting hypnotized into thinking he was a chicken. So
the Rocket.
so here's the thing, Matt, and I love you, man, but if you have to explain the joke, usually not a good joke, man.
It's probably a good joke, but just people who like The Simpsons, Jeremy.
you don't get it because you've never seen
I'm
Simpsons.
not cultured. Okay, I get it. Fine.
There's a lot of Simpsons episodes. There's a lot of Simpsons episodes. There's like 30 years of them. They still make them. They made them when, like, my dad was not even 30. Like, they stretch generations. Like, The Simpsons.
And they're on Disney Plus, by the way, in case you want to watch them.
Did you just call out your dad for being old, basically?
Yeah, I mean, I sometimes I call him and just tell him he's old.
Okay, do you want me to do the movie segment now?
Yeah, let me play the intro. It's downloaded today.
Yay.
It's time for everyone's
I'll warn you, this is a long one tonight.
kind of.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
There are no 2 words in the English language more harmful than good job. It always have passed.
Here's movies with
Matt.
This is a long one. Hi, guys.
Hi.
The Blind Side. First off, the stars of the film. You have Sandra Bullock, who won the Academy Award for playing the tough-loving Leanne Tui. You have Lily Collins, who is Phil Collins' daughter, ironically.
Wait, really?
Yeah. And guess what? She plays a character, the daughter, named Collins. Then you have Kathy Bates, the rare Southern Democrat who the family hires as a tutor. You get cameos from many college football coaches, including Nick Saban, Lou Holtz, and Ed Orgeron. Pre-Go Tigers Day at Ed Orgeron. This is when Nick Saban was the LSU coach, or was set in the time.
Actually, I think he was at Alabama, but had to put on an LSU shirt for the movie.
Well, yeah, because in the movie he's at LSU, and then they know that he goes and coaches the Dolphins.
Yeah.
And Quentin Aaron does a good job playing Michael Orr. But Tim McGraw, the country singer who ironically likes to talk about buying Coca-Cola and gasoline, because he's referenced that in at least 2 of his hit songs, something like that, and I Called Mama, was playing the father in the movie. And honestly, you could tell that he knew his casting and his role was a joke in a way. Yes, he was the supportive, wealthy husband and father, but you could tell he couldn't care about the role because he was always laughing in the scenes. It was a little uncomfortable, honestly. And also, Tim McGraw doesn't have hair. I don't know whether they put a wig, whether he grew hair plugs. Maybe he does have hair under that big hat he always wears.
Just a little bit.
He had nice hair in this film, albeit a film that I don't think he took seriously. And this was a very serious movie. The movie itself is portrayed as a rags to riches story. A homeless inner city boy in and out of foster care gets accepted by the help of a football coach into a private suburban parochial school, partly because he was huge and had some athletic ability. After getting his
coach was Hugh Freeze.
In real life, yes.
Yeah.
After getting his grades up, he's able to join football, where after some motivation from his in his role as a left tackle, using his high-scored protective instincts to help lead his team, and then get recruited by SEC coaches, eventually selecting Ole Miss. Although Michael once again has to boost his grades and prove that he was not pushed into going to the school by the Tuohys, who are alumni of Ole Miss and wealthy boosters of the school. This movie packs a lot in, yet there are some questions that I have about the movie. One, did Michael Orr himself actually see the racism that was going on? You know, there were some scenes where there were characters that were being racist. Like the defensive lineman in one of the scenes was totally being racist. The scenes show the family hearing racism, but I didn't necessarily see Michael hearing that directly. Number 2, why does the film portray Michael Orr as essentially an idiot the entire time until close to the end? That could be considered racist, wouldn't it? Like, you know, just judging someone. Yeah, okay. Although on the contrary, it may show that maybe children and teens may portray fear and not speak much due to the uncertainty. Number 3, the NCAA investigation had to do also with his high school coach, who in real life was Hugh Freeze, who took a job on Coach O's staff at Ole Miss. Number 4, the movie portrays that Michael worked hard with a tutor to get his GPA up without saying that the real Michael Orr took some online classes to help boost his GPA to get the athletic scholarship at Ole Miss. And lastly, Freeform, which airs the movie like almost every week, I had taped and watched it, could edit an important part in the end where there's a picture montage of real-life images. The fact that Michael Orr went on to win a Super Bowl protecting one of the most laughable Super Bowl MVPs ever, Joe Flacco. I mean, come on. You got to give offensive linemen credit for some of these quarterbacks that win.
Yeah.
I'll even say that Nick Foles didn't deserve the MVP of that Super Bowl. The offensive line did. But
you can't spell elite without J-O-E Flacco.
Look, I love this movie, and I have a lot of questions about this movie. But like Sandra Bullock's character, I guess I have God to thank for that. God and Lawrence Taylor. Yeah,
I have a lot of opinions.
And sorry, the first scene of the film is
Yeah.
Lawrence Taylor busting Joe Theismann.
Yeah, that was a very good way to end that.
Are you crying? You good?
No,
You good?
Excuse me. I was trying to hold in a burp. But
You looked like you were crying.
no, but
It's an emotional movie.
no. Number one, when I saw this in theaters, the scene where they go back to that guy's house and there's like a gun pulled or whatever, that scene made me scared for the rest of the night.
Me too.
That's what I went on mute a few minutes ago and told Jeremy. Like Jeremy had nightmares after seeing that movie for so long.
Yeah, there's a lot. I remember seeing it, my other friend seeing it, and then our other friend that like wasn't allowed to see movies like that, like with violence. We said, I don't know, you're gonna get scared. And so yeah, I remember that. But it's not necessarily how I think he is portrayed that really kind of rubs me the wrong way, because yes, he was like, I've read half of the actual book. I had to return it to the library before I came back to school one time and didn't get to finish it. But he was very, very quiet, like very, very quiet kid. But I think that just it's kind of shows that a white woman and a white family is like rescuing this black kid when in reality he had played football before. Like,
Yeah.
he was kind of known as an athlete around the town. Like it wasn't necessarily like he was,
He didn't know how to play football or whatever.
yeah, like he did, like he wanted to play football. Like he wanted to be an athlete. Like that is, it kind of shows that like he was kind of rescued by this white woman. But on the other hand, I do think they show some important things that are very anti-racist, like the salad scene. Like she's like, oh, you're eating a $15 salad or whatever, and like
that I could be eating elsewhere.
yeah, and like she kind of gets on her
Wealthy friends, yeah.
old money Southern friends that are saying like that he is like he might be a threat to Collins or whatever. Yeah, so I mean I think it goes both ways, but the fact that Michael himself doesn't really like the movie kind of says it all to me. But I enjoy watching it when it's on. It's not probably even in my top 10 of sports movies, but I knew the story before it actually before the movie. Actually, I was watching the Cotton Bowl with Ole Miss, and I remember specifically the announcers talking about that story.
That's
like
pretty
way
awesome.
before they made the movie, so it's a weird memory I have from my childhood. But yeah, so I don't know. I it's not one of my top 10 favorite sports movies probably, but I mean I enjoy it.
It's really good still.
What'd you say?
Really good movie still.
Yeah,
It's a really good movie, and I don't even think of it as a sports movie. I think of it as a drama, essentially.
that's one of my favorite moments of all time in any movie.
Yeah.
He gets a penalty for excessive blocking.
Speaking of movies, I was on a few airplanes today. I put on Charlie's Angels for 20 minutes and hated it and turned it off. I can't watch Kristen Stewart in anything other than Twilight.
Okay.
Well, Kristen
She only
Stewart,
has one good role, and she doesn't talk in it. That's why she's good in it.
will Kristen Stewart always be Bella Swan?
Yeah.
No, she'll always be the girl from Speak, in my opinion.
It's such a deep movie. Like
I saw it one time on like ABC Family or Lifetime or something.
I read the book for in high school for an assignment.
Really interesting. But she does a good job in that movie. But she doesn't speak, so that's why she does a good job. Like I think she's one of the worst actresses of all time.
Dare you?
She's really bad. She's not good at acting. I don't know.
That's why it's hard to see her in anything else.
Speaking of actors, let's go to the WNBA and talk about Sabrina.
While we're kind of on the
Actors, what?
Yeah, because she always plays towards the camera.
Segment today, or can I mesh my fact of the day in before?
We don't have a football segment today. We will have a football segment later this week, though, if you join the show.
Okay. Well, can I do my fact of the day? Can you play the fact of the day?
Again.
Yeah. Because this is a good fact of the day. Go ahead.
Hey, Travis.
Matt.
Oh, whoops.
Hey, Travis.
Matt.
Fact of the day. We want it now. The fact of the day.
All right. So today's Tom Brady's birthday. Tom Brady's birth date is 8/3/77, August 3rd, 1977. Let's do the math here. 8 plus 3 plus 7 plus 7 equals 25. In February 2017, the Atlanta Falcons blew a 25-point lead in the Super Bowl, and the Patriots won. Super Bowl 51.
Yeah.
That was a total Travis fact of the day, too. Like, you just played the role perfectly.
WNBA, Sabrina Ionescu, Jeremy made a horrible comment to somebody who's had an extraordinarily rough year. So, yeah, I'm going to rip Jeremy there and then rip him later in the show. But, yeah, she's out for, like, the majority. She'll probably miss 14 games with a grade 3, a very severe ankle sprain. Her ankle's probably swelled up. You know, I really don't normally feel bad for people like Sabrina Ionescu. She is got, you know, way more basketball skill than I ever had. I would love to be the number 1 pick in any league's draft and, you know, be a star immediately, score 33 points in my second game, maybe be the greatest college basketball, men or women statistically, of all time. So, yes, but I feel terrible for her because
unfortunate timing. Yeah.
Yeah, she came back to school to win a national championship, pandemic. She had a really good relationship with Kobe and his daughter, and then that happened, and then
Well, that happened before the pandemic.
yes, but I went out of order. But and now this in her rookie season after being drafted number 1 with basically the whole team's hopes on her shoulders. It really sucks, but at least the Mercury are playing well, and Diana Taurasi looks like Diana Taurasi. WNBA.
There's been some bickering between the NBA and the WNBA.
Oh, what's up?
Well, you know the orange hoodie thing.
Yeah.
Luka was wearing an orange hoodie, and then the Wings on Twitter said that's bold of him to be wearing the orange hoodie when he has never even come to a Wings game.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And then Andre Iguodala got into some beef.
Oh, that.
And did you see Kevin Durant? Did you see Kevin Durant backing up Andre Iguodala on Twitter?
He was engaged to a WNBA player for a while, Kevin Durant.
So Kevin Durant, because Andre Iguodala said, what did he say? Number
23 on the Mystics is really good.
And then Kevin Durant said number 2 is really good. Like when he was watching a basketball game, when he was watching an NBA game, to get back at her.
Is it good or bad for the WNBA that the WNBA is going on concurrently as the NBA?
No, but
I think they should always do that, and I think that they should play double headers with the NBA at their home arenas.
Like a Mystics game and then a Wizards game, or vice versa.
They should be in the same bubble together. I don't understand.
But
that'd be cool.
I'd rather watch the Mystics than the Wizards right now.
100%.
The Mystics are balling without Deladon. I don't like.
Without Deladon,
I don't know how, but they're winning games.
And without Natasha Cloud, who is
they have championship pedigree.
Yeah, I mean they're playing well. They lost their first game, but Chicago's really good. I don't know if you watched Allie Quigley in the horse competition. Excuse me, but she did very well.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. I am okay. I just whenever I have a beverage like this happens, or I eat food, I ate guacamole tonight. I should really, change my.
You don't need all the details. Just say you're good.
I'm good. What are we doing?
What are we doing? I'm getting up and getting water.
Okay,
So.
I'm gonna go first. Speaking of guacamole, I repeated my Chipotle order to Jeremy like 7 times. I just wanted food when I was picked up from the airport because I was hungry.
I got you quesadillas.
He got every single part of my order wrong.
Yeah.
Why am I going to get ripped today? What is this?
Okay. So my what are we doing has nothing. My what are we doing has nothing to do with Jeremy. I might be the only one. Honorable mention to the Dallas Stars for letting in 4 unanswered goals in the 3rd period of their round robin game today.
The North Stars.
That was pathetic. But my what are we doing goes to Michael Furland of the Vancouver Canucks for something that he did in their qualifying game against Minnesota last night.
Might get furloughed.
I don't know. His name does sound like might get furloughed, but that's not related to this. So it was in the 3rd period of that game. Vancouver's already down 2-0. It's an innocent looking play in front of Minnesota's bench. He hits Foligno into the bench, and Luke Kunin grabs a stick in a very sneaky way that Furland didn't see. If someone grabs your stick and you're losing a game where the other goalie is robbing you at every turn, you're going to get frustrated. So Furland, in a completely rational way, spears the wrong guy on the Minnesota bench in the stomach. He's called for a minor penalty for slashing. If you watch the replay, it's 2-minute minor penalty. So Minnesota gets a power play. Should have been a game misconduct, 100%. If you watch the replay, he stabs Ryan Hartman in the stomach. It is not a slash at all. The refs completely missed it, and they called Hartman for unsportsmanlike as well, not knowing that Cunnin was the guy who grabbed his stick. And there's a third part of this. Instead of being suspended, which he totally should have been, Furlan gets fined $5,000 and Luke Cunnin gets a $1,000 fine for unsportsmanlike. So everyone here in this situation messed up. Furlan messed up by spearing the wrong guy. Player safety messed up by not suspending him. And the refs messed up by giving him a minor penalty for slashing when it should have been 5-minute game.
It's hot.
What are we doing?
Helmets shouldn't even be required.
Am I going and then you're going to finish off?
What are we doing?
I mean, Matt hasn't gone yet. I was going to go next, though.
Yeah.
So my what are we doing is Jeremy. So the first thing that he did this week was I call him. I'm like, you watching the baseball game? I don't remember what baseball game it was, but, you know, baseball, any day, it's a ticking time bomb. It could end any day. Jeremy claims that baseball is his favorite sport, and he was playing 2K with Brett and Dylan.
And Dylan.
Yeah, we don't know who that is. We know who Brett is, but
No idea who Dylan.
I went to high school with both of them.
we don't know. Like, Mallory doesn't know this Dylan guy. Like, Stacy, Mallory and Jeremy's mom doesn't know this Dylan guy. Like, this Dylan guy has appeared post high school, but he apparently went to Jeremy's high school. Okay, so that's the first thing he did. And then the second thing that he did was today, you know, I'm texting him during the Heat game, no response. I'm like, okay, this is weird. Is he asleep? I'm like, is he asleep? And then I'm like, oh no, he's probably just locked into the game. Like, you know, real big Heat fan, Jeremy. And then I get a message from him. I was sleeping. This game started at 11:30 in the morning.
That's not what I texted you. The first thing I texted you was when you told me about the positive test for the Cardinals, and you were like, this is not as bad as I thought it would be. And I said, still bad. And he said, of course, that's the first thing that you respond to today.
The first thing he responds to was some negative thing I sent him. And then he said,
I want baseball to get it right.
Yeah. And then he said, I was sleeping. This dude went to bed at 4 a.m. last night. 5. Okay. Anyway, that's a good 6.5 hours of sleep. Set your alarm.
My alarm didn't go off. I set my alarm.
Oh, come
I
on.
woke up at 10:30 thinking that the Heat game would be on, and so I forgot that it was 11:30 start, so I set it again for 11:30, and it didn't go off.
All right, whatever. Jeremy, fake fan, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
I'll wake up for the Panthers and Heat game tomorrow. I'll be watching those.
Hopefully. Matt?
I mean, I can complain. I could just say, Jeremy, what are we doing? And I have no valid excuse, really, because I don't have anything
I like that one.
to complain about, Jeremy. But, I mean, look, I'm just still concerned about baseball. Like, I don't know what they're doing. But also at the same time, Derek Jeter got some very mixed reaction on his response today, blaming the outbreak on a false sense of security. Like, come on, Jeter. What are you doing?
Jeter's always, what are we doing?
Also, he said the guys went out. We're not running around town. Like
they were getting food and stuff.
That's running around town, isn't it? Like, yeah. What are you doing?
They didn't go to nightclubs, so that's not. Apparently, if they don't go to nightclubs, it's not running around town.
Yeah, but.
We'll wait you out for the zip line.
I just kind of kicked all over with his shoe. What he just wrote up. Here we go. And I lined up, and the pitch. Oh God! A home run on the first.
This is when Billy from the Levitard Show went to the Marlins game, and he was on the phone on the first opening day of the season. This was Jeter's first ever opening day with the Miami Marlins, and Billy was announcing the game. First pitch of the season, home run, Cubs
Just
up 1-0.
on the phone, yeah. By the way, looking at this article, we know 2 of the players that have COVID, Alcantara and Miguel Rojas.
No. Not Miguel.
Those are 2 of our best players.
Yeah. Well, Garrett Cooper, I know had it because he was out the Sunday they played the Phillies.
Alfaro had it.
Alfaro had it. Well, Alfaro didn't even go to Philly. So
Urania had it.
Yeah, Urania had it.
Such a bad decision.
Oh, your starting pitcher, Pablo Lopez.
He's good. But,
Which, by the way, no offense, but Pablo Lopez sounds like a video game character.
Yeah, he
sounds like
a
he's in
creative
backyard
player.
baseball.
That sounds like a generated name.
Yeah, a generated AA pitcher name. Put it on the poll.
Doesn't Garrett Cooper also sound like that? Like, I feel like every Marlins player's name sounds like.
No, put this on the poll. Is Pablo
Miguel Rojas,
Pablo Lopez a
Brian Anderson?
I'm gonna hold off on putting that on the poll, but let's.
Because the whole team is a bunch of computer generated names.
Are the Miami Marlins actually just computer generated backyard baseball names?
I mean, tomorrow they will be.
Generated. But what happens if they win tomorrow? Like that's what
I mean, we're in first place. We're not that bad.
You won 2 or 3.
What a day for me tomorrow, man.
No. Here's why you're in first place.
You excited to watch with me?
Is because Vince Velasquez sucks as a starting pitcher. That's why you won the second game. The first game you won because our offense wasn't awake against your pitching.
Orioles are shocking the nation. All right, we have one more segment on today's show.
Hi. What are we doing for me? Hello?
Oh, yeah, you have one?
Yeah.
I thought you already went.
What are we doing?
Rob Manfred for saying that he's not a quitter and that he's going to quit next week.
Rob Manfred's terrible.
Literally awful.
By the way,
he's my what are we doing? He's been my what are we doing 3 weeks in a row now.
By the way,
what was the first week?
I don't remember. It's just always Manfred. Like he's just
the Field of Dreams game got canceled. So
yeah.
Rob Manfred, what are we doing?
Like, why did they even stage that to begin with? I'm not when they replan the season. Like, it'd be fine if there was no pandemic. It would have been cool. Baseball game in Iowa, but like, why did you have to do it in this?
Play all their games there. I don't understand. Why doesn't everybody just play there?
Exactly.
I got an idea. No, here's why they staged it in the first place. MLB seems to really like cheaters. They took a really long time to punish the steroid users. They were staging the Field of Dreams game, which focuses around the 1919 Chicago White Sox, a.k.a. the Black Sox, who cheated, and they were using the White Sox in that game. Just think about that for a second. Playing the Cardinals, who I believe they faced, but let's just think about that for a second.
It was the Yankees.
Any Astros players.
Yeah, because the Yankees were the original matchup, and then they made it the Cardinals because the Cardinals were a Midwest team that they could play against. And
the Cardinals got COVID.
Yeah, now the Cardinals got COVID.
That's not why they postponed it. They postponed it for logistical reasons. No, it was. I'm sorry, it was the Reds. It was the Reds that won that World Series. But by the way, the Reds is factually inaccurate.
Yeah, that movie's fictional. So.
But they did cheat. They did throw the World Series.
Fun fact. In my freshman year of high school, fundamentals of Catholicism class, my teacher, who was the athletic director of my high school, made us watch Field of Dreams and write a paper on it. So.
Did you go to a Catholic school?
I did.
I feel like that's very Philly.
Yeah.
Like I feel like a lot of people go to Catholic
Wait,
school.
did you go to St. Joe's Prep?
No, I did not go to the Prep. Why? Do you know Prep people?
I went to a Jesuit high school too, and I remember when the Pope came to Philly, we sent some people up to St. Joe's to I don't know, watch the Pope or something. I don't know. It was weird. It was really weird.
Is a
well. I would try to get in if the Pope came to Miami, even though he's Jewish.
I will say. By the way, I lucked out. The Pope came to Philly my freshman year at Arizona State, So I was watching all the Pope's festivities on my computer, essentially.
Pope drank?
Anyway,
Yeah, let's do Gasper try to get in, even though he's Jewish, right?
let's do.
I need to tell the Pope that he's been following his work for a long time.
Look, I'm Jewish too, and if the Pope was coming to my city, I would be first in line to greet him.
Yeah.
That is some serious clout right there. Like, Catholicism is a big
I've been to Vatican City. Beautiful Vatican City.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna be the first one there. You better believe it.
Hold on. Okay, here's the rhetorical question and a poll question. Is the Pope Catholic?
What?
Is the Pope Catholic? Is the Pope Catholic?
I think we're gonna offend some people there, Matt.
I'm kidding. That was a trivia game that we would play in my church history class freshman year of high school. By the way, I went to Catholic school for 12 years, so bless me for I have sinned since.
So there's very much a show that, doesn't really follow the Christian marriage situation because number one, baby, and number two, a likelihood of divorce. And
not when there's a female lead.
Yeah, but still, at 50% of the time, they still fail.
Yeah, Mallory, what the hell's going on in their little Bachelorette club?
Can I talk about this before we talk about the recap of tonight? Or
I feel like we should wait for the snooze because, this season, I can get through in, 2 seconds. And then
I don't even watch these GOAT episodes.
Okay,
but I just want to
next week, Dad.
That makes two of us.
I'll watch The Bachelorette when it comes out in probably 2023 at this point. But
okay, so I'll quickly give what my thoughts on tonight.
I'll give you 30 seconds to talk about the GOAT. You ready?
Allie was cool. This guy Frank, she shouldn't have left her, but he's happy with a very beautiful.
Early, right?
Kind of, but very beautiful wife. And there was this guy that had a girlfriend, and he was just on the show to try to become a professional wrestler, and his wrestling name was
with the boots, with the cast on his leg.
He had a broken foot. That was probably not broken. It was probably just for the fans.
What year was this, by the way?
It was in 2010.
Yeah.
Wow,
I liked Allie. She seemed nice, and she was really pretty.
Is she married?
Yes. Yeah. She has a nice husband that looks like Frank.
Okay.
And her kids were.
All right, Mallory. What is this huge news? We've waited till the last segment. We kept you guys here for this entire time.
We teased it once.
So here is what is going on. Wait, can you make this full screen? This picture, please. Okay. So we have Claire, who is our Bachelorette.
So we thought.
Claire
still is.
Claire's season was supposed to happen back in March. Some cast members stayed and some cast members weren't going to be part of it anymore. Someone who did stay was this guy named Dale. So we assume that Dale and Claire had been talking from March until now. Then when they got to their little quarantine resort, they hit it off right away. Claire says there's no need to continue on with the show. Screw the contract. I have my man. I'm done being the Bachelorette. 4 weeks into filming. So here's what they do. They bring in Tayshia, who's interviewed to be the Bachelorette twice now. She was going to be the Bachelorette instead of Hannah B, and then also instead of Claire. So they had her on standby. And as far as we know, she is now at the resort, and they're trying to figure out if she's just going to have Claire's leftovers or if they're going to bring in new guys or what the situation is. But it's a very unique situation, and it will be interesting to see how production plays it off. But, it's craziness in Bachelor Nation right now.
Let me tell you, I am super excited for this season of The Bachelorette because, number one, we're going to have 2 Bachelorettes.
Wow.
For 4 weeks, and then the remaining 7 episodes.
That's what we think. That's just what Reality Steve assumes. Reality Steve is right most of the time.
Reality Steve is the Adam Schefter
Yes.
of reality TV. He has the inside sources and the inside scoop.
Oh, but Demi, not Lovato, the other Demi. Demi went on live with Reality Steve. She didn't know any of the Tayshia stuff, but she said this was major tea. She texted Tayshia, and the text was green and not delivered.
Ah, they took her phone. Well, no, it's confirmed though. Now it's confirmed.
I mean, look, my thoughts on this were, the most recent season, the quote-unquote winner is still single. I don't know why. I guess this Tayshia girl interviewed a couple times. Great. I would love to see Hannah Ann as the Bachelorette.
You just love Hannah Ann. Okay, let's just.
I love Hannah Ann. Okay.
Let's just expose this for us. Matt has the biggest crush on Hannah Ann, like I do, and probably every other guy.
His DMs are not open.
It's a three-way tie between Hannah Ann, McKenna, and Madison.
Do you understand that these people have to be mature to be able to date 30 guys?
Jesus. And you're saying that, well,
Hannah Ann, if you're watching, we'll put Klinger's number at the end of the video. So
I think or my
jump on that.
Pilot Pete.
My Kenna's immature.
Tell her about me.
Look, my Kenna is very immature still, but she's chilling up in Canada. She's cool. Look, I think because Hannah Ann got screwed, essentially, she should be given another chance to find love.
I think she'll be the Bachelorette or be on Paradise at some point. But who's that? Who is the girl that I really like that not a lot of people liked, but I think she's cool and I follow her on Instagram?
Heather?
No, not Heather.
Victoria?
No, the one from Colton's season, the blonde one that ended up being friends with Hannah Ann after they had the fight about the champagne.
Pilot Pete's
on Colton's season?
Pilot Pete's
season.
No,
on Pilot Pete's season. Yeah.
Kelsey.
Yeah, I like Kelsey a lot. So
Kelsey was in consideration for the Bachelorette, but the top three were Tayshia, Claire, and Tia, who you guys don't know. Tia was on Nick's season of The Bachelor, and then she had a thing with Colton on Bachelor in Paradise.
My three favorite from Pilot Pete's season were Hannah Ann, Kelly, and Kelsey. Those are my three favorites. Yeah, I mean, I think this is very interesting. I'm excited to see it. I think hopefully they extend it so it's longer, like it's 15 episodes or something. But I think it's a good twist. I think they should actually be happy about this, even though she broke her contract. Like, I think it'll be a new twist to something that's kind of predictable every year. But
Mallory called the other guys leftovers.
Kelly and Pilot Pete are still dating, by the way.
Yes, that they're going strong. They're probably gonna last.
Yeah, they're gonna get married.
Yeah,
we want Tyler C as the Bachelor, or Mike.
Again, this is Mallory really likes Tyler C. So Matt, just like Matt likes Hannah Ann, so therefore they want them to be the Bachelor and Bachelorette. But no, I forgot to tell you guys. So this guy that Claire apparently is with, Dale, he followed me on Instagram like 2 years ago. He's like a former walk-on at not a walk-on, but like a practice squad guy in the NFL, off-season guy. And he's significantly younger than Claire. He's like 31. She's like 39.
Not significantly.
8 years. Calm down.
That's pretty young compared to. He's very beautiful.
Appreciate Saver.
Yes, but this guy Dale used to follow me. He doesn't follow me anymore, but
you follow him, and you're exclusive because Dale's Instagram is private. So
yeah,
Jesse is in there.
Apparently I am, and he probably just made it private because
Jesse is our
Bachelor.
number one Dale correspondent.
I've been asking Jesse to screenshot me everything and sending me everything that Dale's posted.
He played college basketball and college football Division I. He was on South Dakota State, the same team as Nate Walters, if you remember that guy who ended up leading them to the tournament and then got drafted by the Bucks, I believe. So, yes.
Wow, get that guy on the show.
Get Dale Moss on the show. I think he's not going to come on the show until after this all airs.
I know someone in Bachelor Nation who I could get on the show.
We still haven't gone on to that celebrity thing where you can pay to get people to come.
Cameo.
Why aren't we doing that? I forgot.
It's expensive.
It's not. It's like $20. If we all put in $5, they can come on the show.
Yeah, but it's really hard. It's really hard to get people to even come on the show, Alex. But you know.
Hey, Alex.
What'd you say?
Happy birthday, Alex. I
couldn't rip him on his birthday. Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, bud.
I have polls to go over.
Okay. All right, we're wrapping up.
Yeah, all right. So do you want me to start back on last Tuesday night when you asked, does Paul Rudd trend at least twice a year because of how young he looks?
Yeah.
Yeah, because 100% of respondents say yes. All right, now this was a big poll that I saw quote tweeted by an outside source. Gas grills or charcoal grills? 70 votes, 63% of respondents say charcoal grills.
Yes, 100%.
I mean,
Not 100%.
63%.
75% of the time, 100% of the time, we got
Well, the best ones are those grills that are both charcoal and gas. Wow.
Listen. As a single man who lives in a one-bedroom apartment, my George Foreman grill does.
By the way, Hannah Ann, he's single, Hannah Ann, by the way.
Okay, was the guy that doubted Rated R Justin's broken foot the same guy that boos injured players at a sporting event? 78% of respondents say yes. Did you know Instagram was around in 2010? 78% of respondents say no. No one used it back then. But it was around, I would think.
I got mine in 2013.
2012 for me. I got my Facebook in 2011 and Twitter in 2011.
I got Facebook in 2010, and then I forgot the password. So
I was the last person in my 8th grade class to get a Facebook. So that was, yeah. And I also did not have a cell phone until I ended 8th grade.
I got a cell phone at the start of 8th grade.
I got a cell phone basically to start high school.
That's not flex.
Right. Are you ready to fall for me? Definitely the worst question to ask someone before beginning to walk on a tightrope. 94% of the respondents say yes. Is a tightrope a bad place for a kiss? 61% of respondents say yes. I would assume the 39% of respondents work for Cirque du Soleil. Does Frank give you hope? 58% of respondents say no. Is quote-unquote here for the right reasons always the theme of the season? 100% of respondents say yes. I mean, isn't that any Bachelor?
Season is, are you here for the right reasons, or are you just trying to get famous? Oh, this guy's not. This girl's not. So you know what? Let's get married. It's so stupid.
Is number 19 a good number for a hockey goalie? No or Oilers? 71% of respondents say no.
Is that a shot at Mikko Koskinen?
I would never take a shot at that guy.
Does Frank give you absolutely no hope? 60% of respondents say no. Does Frank give you the most hope? 63% of respondents say yes. Did you watch the KBO just so you had officials to bash? 100% of respondents say yes. I don't know why. And finally, the bigger jerk, the guy who complains about the refs or the guy who wants the rules to be changed. 100% of respondents say yes. And before we go...
Hey, which one?
Well, no. Well, I just said 100% said ref complainer.
Oh, I thought you said yes.
Are we going to watch Big Brother?
Yes.
Oh, I've been
100%.
watching.
I will not be watching Big Brother
for 19 years.
Is it Big Brother?
What?
Is it Celebrity Big Brother?
Yeah,
No.
it's All Stars.
Wow.
Yeah.
So try to convince me to watch it, and I'll become the Big Brother correspondent.
Okay,
Oh my gosh.
I'm the
Dude.
biggest Big Brother fan you'll ever meet. So.
Okay,
And,
but these All-Stars, are these All-Stars repeat cast members?
Yes.
Hold
Okay.
on.
So they're really good.
They're winners. Big personalities. Good
Strategic.
strategists. You know what's the word?
Strategist is a good word.
Strategists, yeah, they're good strategists and good competitors. In like the whatchamacallit, like competitions, yeah, competitors and competitions, obviously.
So Matt and Jeremy and I are well into our 20s, and Mallory and Evan are nearing that point in their lives. We're becoming those 20-year-olds that talk about like the network TV shows. Like we're becoming old people that talk about like
I've watched this network TV show since I was born.
Yeah, but like that's what like people of, you know, a certain like age and they're like still young but not like super young, like they're talking about like
I work for
Alan last night.
Yeah, I work for ABC Fox Montana. By the way, if you guys want your latest on Montana sports, please go to SWX right now.
And that will do it for this edition of the Why So Serious show.
Not to cut you off, Jesse. Before you go, I just want to say there's nothing wrong with a goalie wearing a player number. 19.
You're really upset about this.
Yeah, because goalies can wear whatever number they want as long as it's not 99. They're the guys defending your honor, stopping these pucks with their bodies. They can pick
How many times do you play goalie in your life?
None, but I respect netminders because they cover for me whenever I make a dumb mistake, make a bad pass, bad giveaway, whatever it is. Goaltenders,
I'm not letting you wear 19, bro. Like
goaltenders are the most important position in the game. They can wear whatever number they want as long as they're good. Vasilevsky, no one gets on Vasilevsky for wearing 88. How many goalies do you know that?
Fine, that's fine, I guess.
The higher numbers.
The one.
One or the higher numbers.
One or the higher numbers.
Yeah,
like, that's fine.
One or the higher numbers. All right, that'll do it for the show. Tune in tomorrow. Follow the letter Y and then So Serious Show on Twitter. You know, all that stuff that we normally do.